When's the last time you hugged your mom?
It's been 15 years, longer than 15 years.
Yeah. You haven't been able to hold her hand or anything?
Well, no non-contact.
Yeah.
This is what John Lucio's life looks like now.
We made a promise to your mom and told her that we were going to do everything we could to fight. Not
Meetings with lawmakers.
Are you gone?
That's me, ma'am.
Shaking hands, demonstrating.
This is John.
He's fighting for his mother's life.
A big brick wall was put in front of me, and I put everything aside. I was close to graduating school. I was about 140 some hours from graduating. I had a very good job as a barber. I was doing a lot of physical training, marathons, but I put my mother's life first because everything I just mentioned doesn't have an execution date.
John's mother, Melissa Lucio, is scheduled to die on April 27th. She was scheduled to death in 2008, convicted of killing his little sister, Mariah.
I believe she's innocent.
The family called 911 after finding Mariah unresponsive. Doctors said she had bruises in different stages of healing, bite marks, scrapes, and missing chunks of hair.
You know how this is going? You know how this looks?
Her arm had been broken weeks prior.
You know how this looks? Can I tell you how this looks? It looks like you're a cold-blooded killer.
A medical examiner concluded she had been beaten to death, dying of blunt force trauma to the head.
My mother was not the abusive woman.
Mariah was 2, the youngest of Melissa's then 12 children. She was pregnant with twins at the time. John, then 17, wasn't living at home. CPS had returned his siblings to the house 3 months prior to Mariah's death, after 2 years in foster care. They had reportedly been neglected. Some, including Mariah, were born with cocaine in their system.
The road that brought Melissa to this point, has been certainly a difficult one. Throughout her own childhood, she was the victim of sexual abuse, and as an adult, the victim also of sexual abuse and domestic abuse.
Vanessa Potkin, an attorney with the Innocence Project, says Melissa's trauma history made her vulnerable to coercive and manipulative interrogation techniques, eventually producing what she calls a false confession.
This is your chance to set it straight, because right now it looks like capital murder. Right now it looks like you're a cold-blooded killer. Now, were you a cold-blooded killer?
No, I'm not.
Or were you a frustrated mother who just took it out on her for whatever reason?
No.
It's got to be one.
For 5 hours of asserting her innocence, over 100 times she told police that she was innocent, that she didn't harm her child. She loved her daughter, Mariah. And, this interrogation continued with the obvious implication that it was just going to keep going until she told officers what they wanted to hear.
Melissa originally told officers Mariah had fallen down the stairs 2 days before her death, a story she maintains as she has since recanted her confession.
And some of the techniques that are used, in fact, mimic techniques that are used or that, come to bear in a domestic violence situation. So, part of the interrogation techniques are to isolate somebody, to, invade their personal space. To kind of create this atmosphere of hopelessness and despair so that the individual thinks, the only way out is to acquiesce.
John Lucio says his mother's death would further victimize him and his family.
They hurt for her, they see me hurt for her, and they don't want this, they don't want to see this, they don't want to go through this, they don't want to live through this just like we do.
Shannon Ryan, Fox 7 Austin News.